This is Hans Lysglimt, and this is the Freedom Academy. Now, the Freedom Academy is really about your personal freedom. We are in the Ron Paul campaign, and we are working to make the Ron Paul campaign a long-term movement. But for you, it's your personal freedom that's really important, and the steps that you can take to liberate yourself and to achieve freedom in your life. And what I have been doing for the last 10 years is that I've been working on one very important issue of your personal freedom, and that is the digital footprint that you are leaving behind. You are leaving behind a digital footprint in every purchase you make with a credit card, and every time you do almost anything, even offline and online, you leave traces that someone can use against you at some point of time. It's really scary how all these digital traces that you leave sometime in the future can be assembled and used to predict your patterns and to have a total surveillance society where someone will know everything about you. And think about that. The traces that you leave today will be there forever. It's really scary. The things you buy today, when you use your credit card, are put into a database and it will be there forever. Everything you do online, every page that you visit online on the internet is stored on servers. Your IP number is stored. So they don't have really the technology and the processing power today to put this all together, and that's why we're not so scared about it. But one day they will, and that's not very long from now. 10 years from now, the computing power is going to be tremendously stronger than what it is now. The government, the US government, are going to have computers that will just go sweep through all the data from today. I mean, in 2018, the traces that we leave now in 2008 are still going to be there. And they're going to have the computing power to just massively crunch this data and make profiles on us. Tremendously detailed profiles. They're going to know every web page we watch. They're going to know every purchase we made, and they're going to put all this data together. This is really scary, and you have to think about that now and make your digital footprint as hard as possible for them to get to analyze, to confuse them, and do everything you can so that when this society becomes real a few years from now, when the computing power is there, it's going to be difficult for them to make that profile on you. And okay, so what I've been doing for the last few years, I started an email company back in 1999. It's called Runbox. And Runbox is based in Norway, and Norway has one of the best personal privacy laws in the world. It's the land of the ombudsman. And your email is one of your most important digital footprints. And I want to tell you, if you have an email account within the US, they are going to get to that data one way or the other. I can promise you that. People are going to use and misuse and abuse all your email, probably all the email that you ever sent and received from the beginning of email. And they're going to get to that data. It's all being stored every day now. You log on. Next thing you do after watching this video, you log on to your email account. It's probably from one of the big US companies. No names mentioned and no names forgotten, but you know we know who they are. The big internet players. They all have these free email services. And every email you send, every email you read, every email you receive is stored in the computers, and it will be analyzed and will be used against you at some point of time because it's there. It's inevitable. As long as it's there, it's going to be so tempting for the government and for these big companies to share data, to put it together in new ways, to use the computers, not today, but the computers of 5 and 10 years into the future, to make these profiles. They're going to know who you sent email to, why did you send an email to this person, why did you do that, why did you do this, and it's going to be massaged. This data going to be compared to your IRS data, the tax filings that you've done. It's going to be compared to the traveling that you've been doing, going in and out of countries and going around the states. It's going to be compared to your driving patterns because they have your license plate, and you're being filmed and photographed when you're going through traffic stations and all that. And all that, it's going to be compiled into a massive profile of you. So they're going to know exactly. I mean, they're going to ask questions like, hey, what did you do on that road in 2003, driving in that direction when your IRS records say that you were working in this town? And why did you send an email the day after to the store that you bought this? They're going to have this tremendous profile on you, and you have to be conscious about that now to stop that and prevent that from happening. Okay, one of your most important profiles is going to be your email profile, and you want to get that out of the United States. Just get it. I don't care that much where you put it, but just get it out of the U.S. if you are a U.S. citizen. If you live in the United Kingdom, get it out of the United Kingdom. If you live in France, get it out of France. Just get it out of the local government where you live. If you live in China, have your email in Japan or somewhere else. Just get it out of your local government because they are going to misuse and abuse this data and use it against you. But the U.S. government, if you have your email outside the U.S., it's going to be difficult for them to get that email data just to make that profile on you that they want to do. They might get it if they suspect that you're a terrorist or something like that. They might issue a subpoena and somehow get your data. But that will be the exception and not the rule. The rule will be that it will be difficult for them. So if you get your email out of the U.S., that's a great step towards your personal liberty. You should also really consider getting a credit card in a bank outside the U.S. and as much as possible move your digital footprint out of the way of the U.S. government. The U.S. government is the biggest, strongest government there is in the world, and they will have the biggest power to assemble and to crunch all this data. And of course, this is my plug. I mean, my company Runbox is based in Norway. We store all your email in Norway on servers in Norway, and the US government cannot get to that. They need a subpoena in the Norway to get to your data, and that is extremely difficult to get because we have these personal privacy laws that pretty much stop any subpoena from the IRS or from any sort of government agency. You can get a subpoena in Norway if you are suspected of terrorism or child pornography or something nasty like that. You can still get a subpoena. But in the US, you can get a subpoena for, these government agencies can get a subpoena for anything. It's really easy, and they pass this telecom immunity acts that will pretty much all that digital information about you is going to be a free-for-all for the government. They're going to have access to everything. They're going to change the laws in such ways that they will have access to anything. You can be sure about that. So they're going to see everything, and they're going to make this digital profile of you. Get your email to Norway. That's my best suggestion for you. If you are really paranoid, you want to encrypt all your email and do pretty good privacy encryption of all your email. But right now and for the next few years, that's something that only techies and nerds will really be able to do and take the time to do, and it's really cumbersome. Your best step right now is to just get an email account outside the US and keep your email out of the way of the government. So check out Runbox, www.runbox.com, runbox.com. That's a great email service comparable to all the big services, the free email services in the US from the big companies. And it's a company where I started that company. I'm the chairman of that company. It costs $49.95 per year, but that's really worth it to preserve your privacy and to get your digital footprint out of the US. Runbox.com. Get your email out of the US.